Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Just a video that hopefully won't be too long. Chuckle. This is really to cover the misleading information and misconceptions around these injectors and injector seats. So the first few little misconceptions and misleading bits of information that are out there. Okay, so you know we specialise on 1KDs. And let's just briefly talk about this injector seat problem. The common Toyota injector problem, or the common Toyota injector seat problem. So there's a problem straight away. It's not common and it's not a problem, it's a lack of maintenance. Okay, so we're going to go through and explain it in detail. Is it a Toyota problem? No, it's not a common Toyota problem. It's a common problem on any common rail diesel injector that has a seat under it, which is, they're all pretty similar systems. They've got copper seats there, they need to be changed or they erode away. So that's the first misconception or misunderstanding, misinformation, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to try and explain that a bit clearly. And the other one is, everybody's got a YouTube channel, so you've got to decide who you listen to. Now there's people out, there's diesel businesses, there's mechanical businesses, there's engine rebuilders, there's DIYers that they almost make themselves look like mechanics or technicians and, you know, whatever. And they may not mean to do that, but look, a lot of people are being misled, and I'm getting feedback from people on a lot of this information put out. You know, people send you links, look at this and whatever. But, you know, it's just ridiculous, the misleading information out there. So it's really important you subscribe. And once again, like I always keep saying, excuse me, go back and work your way from the newest videos backwards, perhaps, is the way to do it, because they're probably the most up-to-date, rather than go to the oldest ones and work your way through. Any other channels, just stop watching it unless you just want some entertainment, and it's just going to mislead you and lead you to believe the wrong things. Now, when we give you information, we make sure it's exactly what it is. We're either highly experienced with it to know that's what it is, or it's from facts. Okay, I'll give you an example. Toyota's a pretty big company, and if they've documented something, right, for example, just for a quick example, injectors causing wrong combustion, causing cracked pistons, then that's what it is. Okay, it's not, you know, some small business with 1, 2, 3, or a few people working there that have worked out what it is. You know what I mean? It's not that. Okay, like me, I'm just me. It's not what I've worked out, unless I've done hundreds or thousands of something. And if Toyota agrees, or you know, you can work out what makes sense. Does that make sense or not? Now I'll give you some examples, okay? Sit tight for a minute and we're gonna have a look at something else. Okay, so there's been a video released very recently that talks about the 1KD engine, the cracked piston, and the relationship with the oil pickup pictured there. So this is, we've got a few pictures on the wall to explain to clients what's what to check, and what things should look like. So we've done this in other videos, but this one's going to be a bit more specific and factual, the absolute facts, okay? And if we don't know the facts of one particular, it's not going to be included in the video. For example, this oil pickup. Okay, it's been said that it's $50 at Toyota, only $50 at Toyota. I don't know whether that's right or not. It's also been said that it should be a part of just accepted as periodic maintenance, just to replace that every 100,000 Ks. Now, that is just absolutely stupid, I'm sorry. These oil pickups can block up in 20, 30, 40,000 Ks. So changing it every 100,000 Ks is not going to save it from blocking up, okay? So that's the first really important point. The second one is, you don't need to replace it, you can clean it. So that is an absolute waste of money. And it's actually a waste of time as well. Whether you do it or you pay someone to remove the sump and take that off and change it every 100,000 Ks, if you had to pay someone to do it, it's oil, it's sealant, it's time, cleaning, removing, cleaning. You know, it's going to be at least a couple $100 at any decent workshop, okay? This doesn't need to be done. You do not need to remove your sump unless your oil pickup is blocked, which you can check with your eye and a torch through the drain sump plug hole. You're looking at it in the pictures above, okay? The top picture is a blocked oil pickup screen, And this one is the same one being cleaned. Just for example, that one's been cleaned through the hole just to show you what it looks like. Just the same picture, right? It's a bit wetter maybe, it's a bit different. You can see the oil's running out because the degreaser's thinned it out. A lot of people will pour a little bit of oil through that as well, just to flush that last bit of degreaser out before you refill the engine with oil. But believe me, a little bit of degreaser isn't going to hurt anything. Now on the Prado, it's easier to remove the sump and clean it, only if it's blocked. Now, as I've said in other videos, don't get mixed up with bits of rag and silicone and this sort of thing, thinking that it's blocked. You're looking for little black bits of carbon. Now, if you're not sure and you were to spray degreaser, then you're going to see the rags either white, pink or yellow, and you're going to see the sealant's probably grey or something like that, and you go, okay, a little bit of that ain't going to block the oil pickup. If you see black, crusty bits of carbon still there when you spray that degreaser, you know what I'm saying when I say spray degreaser, you know, the cans, you just spray these, you know, these budget cans of degreaser through the hole just a little bit and go, oh yeah, okay, no worries. Just let it all drain out, it won't hurt your engine, okay? So this is what I'm talking about. That isn't going to prevent, I mean, anyone, okay? So don't worry about me and what I say. It's not about me. I'm just trying to help you guys out with the right information, okay? It's obvious that you don't need to replace it, right? You can remove it and clean it. It's obvious once you understand the problem, this blow-by problem, just changing it every 100,000 Ks and accepting a service isn't going to solve the problem. That's just going to waste more time and money. I can't stand waste, okay? So, and there's also a comment, and we're talking about an engine and a vehicle that's cracked a piston at 220,000 Ks, if I remember correctly. The most common time, for example, a 150 Prado, the most common time we hear of them cracking pistons is between 160 and 210,000 Ks, right? That's obviously going to start to go higher with time now, but it really seems to be in that, you know, the 180K, the 200K, around the 200, you know, there's some higher ones, you know, 240, 230, 250K. Now, worn injectors, we've already said that, so we're not going to go there. We want to talk more about these seats and why the oil pickup gets blocked, okay? So there was a comment there saying that the injectors are expensive to replace, and they are, but an engine's a lot dearer. I'll say an engine's a lot dearer. So maybe some people don't want you to change your injectors so they can do more engines. I don't know. I'm just trying to work out what's going on here. Documented by Toyota. Again, facts. Documented by Toyota. We've shown you the documents. They've been around for years that talk about, you know, making the piston more robust. Okay? Doesn't mean they're not saying there's a problem with the piston. Obviously, they're trying to make it stronger. It's been happening for years, mate. Of course, smaller, you want better efficiency, smaller engines, more power. So they've just got to try and make things stronger, okay? So, and it says, the injectors have been revised to help prevent wrong combustion, which if you reverse it around the other way, the injectors are causing wrong combustion. Wrong combustion helps and contributes causing cracked pistons, right? As does other causes, okay? Now, definitely the oil cooling is a factor. That's why it's important to have oil changes, and even more important to have a clear oil pickup, right? Because if it's blocked, it doesn't matter how many oil changes you've got. And this is the other misconception. Some places go, oh, you know, it's okay, we use genuine oil, or we do lots of oil changes. You can change oil every 2,000 Ks. If you've got carbonisation blocking your oil pickup, right? It doesn't matter how much you change your oil. So let's be clear, this is what this is about. I don't care about anyone else. We're not going to name anyone. If you know who I'm talking about, good on you. If that person watches, I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say. Misleading. Changing that oil pickup, spending money, time and labour is not every 100,000, which is what it says in your video. I watched it twice to make sure. You're saying it's just got to be accepted. That is just totally wrong, and it's not going to help anyone, okay? I don't really care about the injector thing or not. You can change injectors or not. I just give information based on what we see. And it's not only Toyota documenting that. You know, just like you, people call us once they've got a cracked piston. And when you follow it up and do the homework, it seems to be always caused. But, you know, you don't get cars at, you know, really low kilometres, I suppose, unless they've had contamination, really rare. Anyway, so let's move on to explaining these seats. So is there anything else in the picture we need to talk about? No, you've got the blocked oil pickup at the top, you've got clean below it, you've got what the clean oil pickup should look like. There's one other thing. If you take your sump off, this is what a blocked oil pickup over here looks like, okay? So that's all your black carbon, it's got oil on it so you can't see it. Once you were to say spray that with degreaser, you will actually see Bit hard to see because the way the light is, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not about perfect pictures here. And next to it, you've got the dirty injector pipes, you know, another reason for changing pipes when you change injectors. But anyway, look, that's what the block door pickup's going to look like for you anyway. Now let's have a look at these seats again and talk about those a bit more. Okay, so let's explain it again, okay? We've seen a few of these seats, not that many. I'm sure there's people that have seen more and all that, right? Now, this is the deal. It's not just 1KDs, okay? You hear about 1KDs, probably the most popular diesel engine out there, probably the best engine out there. We choose to work on all the better things because that's what you do. You want to work on good stuff, not rubbish, you know what I mean? So, but basically all these common rail diesels have got a similar setup with these seats under the injector here, and over time they're going to erode away from the heat of the engine and heating and cooling and this sort of thing, and you're going to see similar sorts of issues. So don't think, oh, you know, these 1KD, you know, whatever. It's just there's so many of them because, as I've said in other videos, you'll check it out when you're in the outback if you go out there and basically see if you can, you know, sort of take notice. Oh, look, there's 95% Toyotas. So what's going to happen? They're the ones doing the long Ks, the reliability Ks out there, you know, towing the caravans. Early days they were copper like that, okay? Let's have a look, right? Let's just have a quick look. See, copper, right? And you can see where it's blown out and it's leaking, right? You can see the black mark a little bit. Right, let's have a look at the other side, right? Even better, okay? This is what happens over time. You can see the seating area there. It's about 2.5 millimeters wide, I can tell you, that area there, roughly. And eventually what happens is they do slowly start to leak and then they blow out and things get worse, okay? Those seats, they eventually leak. Now let's stick to facts again. The fact of the matter is, if you look at the service book, every 40,000 Ks, the correct procedure is, and I'm not saying this needs to be done, but this is the correct procedure. So this is what, you know, Toyota Japan, what they designed, the setup they designed, you know, I'm backing them up here. They're meant to come out every 40,000, right? To check the valve clearances, you're meant to remove the injectors and change these seats is the correct procedure, okay? If that ever got done, then none of these would leak, especially if it was done properly, you know, cleaning the ports and torque specifications, which they come up with the 22 Newton meters, and when it's clean, I can in our workshop, I guarantee if I replace your injectors, these seats are not going to leak. Guaranteed for 120,000 Ks. Don't touch them. Don't let anyone take them out. If they leak, I will replace them free. Okay? They're not going to leak. Simple as that. They're probably not going to leak for a lot longer, but you know, your warranty's got to stop somewhere. Let's be realistic. I reckon that's pretty good. Lifetime guarantee on workmanship and 120,000 guarantee these seats aren't going to leak. Okay? So again, not about me. That is the fact. 40,000 Ks. Now, this is the problem, okay? The valve clearances, we know, they really don't go out. They rarely go out, so I even recommend not going in there because the risk of contamination. Remember that previous part of the video where there was a picture of the fuel pipes? All that dirt and debris in those nozzle seals and on the pipes, that's what's going to fall into your injectors when they come out. And then people wonder why they've got injector problems. This is what I'm talking about. It's not a problem. It's the contamination issue. It's the workmanship. That's why when you leave these things alone, they work so well for so long, but it comes to a time where your injectors are worn. Okay, let's just, you know, off topic here. Look how black that is. This is some people, right? What they do. They don't clean ports, right? You know, they just put it back in on top of all that black muck. You can't do that, right? There's plenty of, there's no shortage of them. You know, there's another one, and you can see it's black. See? Just put it on mess, and then it blows out because, look, sometimes they've even been reused. We've mentioned this before. Some people are getting bored because we're talking about the same things over and over again, but it just doesn't seem to be getting through, and particularly into people in the trade that should know better, and people that really, if you've done your homework, you should just really know better. Really important to understand the deal. So let's just pull an injector over here for a minute and do it again, right? So the seat of the injector is here on the bottom of the injector, right? This goes down the port in the head. So we're just going to try and be simple for people that don't really understand engines, right? So this goes down the middle of the head, like on some petrol engines where the spark plug goes these days, right? And the seat area is down here, right? And then, There's an O-ring here that stops oil coming down. There's an oil gallery here, once again, to help cool the injector. Okay, and then keep going up. The clamp that holds the injector's here, right? So we haven't measured it, but you're talking about approximately 6 inches distance, right, to where it gets clamped down. That's another story, so that doesn't matter. All that matters is seat there that's copper. It needs to be copper so it's soft and flexible and it can work as a gasket and make the seal in the first place. Okay, but of course with the heating and cooling, like everything, wear and tear, erosion, it erodes away. And let's try and pick one out of the picture here. I don't know, where's a good example? There's so many to choose from. You know, so many that weren't cleaned, you know, the black stuff on the seats. And we'll throw those out of the picture every time we see one of them. There's another one. See, specs. This is people that shouldn't be working on cars, and there's no end to it. You know, I can just keep. They're just everywhere. Look at all. You know, I'll show you how they should come off. Right. I'll pick you one that's probably factory. Here you go. Let's have a look at this one. See, clean seat that side. Let's have a look at this side. Same deal there. That's factory. Hasn't been messed around with, or someone's done it just as good. Now the black in the center there. Don't worry about that because there's a taper on the outside of the seat and the inside. And it does get, obviously that's in the combustion area. So, and again, that's a lot of that's your soot, you know, the exhaust gas recirculation. And that's on this side, you can see it's flaked away at the bottom 2/3 if you like, and there's that bit sitting at the top. But that's probably done 150,000 Ks, give or take. And the seating area is fine, happy days, because nobody's touched it, right? And the idea is you want to get in there and replace those before they leak and you have that blocked oil pickup, right? You don't want to have your engine running with, you know, lack of lubrication or cooling for any amount of time, right? So you do it as prevention. So you're going in there, you're either doing it yourself because you watch our videos, or you're, you know, paying someone to do it. So you got to make sure you get the right person for the job. This is one of the biggest issues, okay? And these need to be replaced. You're doing the whole big job, probably at, look, our recommendation again for these seats, anything from about 140 to 200,000 is where I want to replace these, depending on whether you're towing much, short trips, the age of the vehicle. I'll put it out there again. It's about the same as injectors, 7 years, 170, okay, based on averages. And that's why we say yes, replace the injectors, because we know they cause wrong combustion. We know they're a big contributor to cracked pistons. They're the main cause. It's documented by Toyota. It doesn't matter what I say, okay? It's just a known fact the way it is. In, you know, injectors have got to be working right. Now that being said, all the later ones, the injectors are a lot better than what came out 10, 15 years ago. Of course, they're always making improvements. We won't go into that in this video. You may as well replace them while you're doing the seats. You get it, you're in, it's a big job. You know, remember we talked about the risk of contamination, taking the fuel pipes off. So you're not going to go, all right, well at 100,000 I'm going to change the seats, and then at 150 I'm going to do it again and change injectors. There's no point to it. The seats are going to last till 150 in most cases, okay? In most cases, I'm talking at least 99 point some high percentage above that anyway, right? But your free insurance is checking that oil pickup, looking through the hole, right? Do you remember that? Free insurance, okay? Free insurance, and it's not just 1KDs. This is any engine that you can see the oil pickup, right? I don't care if it's a petrol engine, you know, the 1GRs, you see people writing, oh, you know, I think I'm going to stick with the 1GR. Like, you know, if they haven't had, they're a bit different. It's not caused by the injectors leak and stuff like that, but petrol contaminates diesel and gums it up. So if it's missed some oil changes or been sitting around, not so good, okay? So there's your free insurance. When you drop your oil out, you check to make sure it's looking, and it won't look quite silver like that. As I said, this one's been clean. It'll look black. It'll look like it's been spray painted black because your oil's a bit black, okay? Because of the soot loading, all that black soot in the combustion from the EGR system. Again, going off topic. So I think we've sort of explained what we can. We've explained the operation of the seats. I want to be clear, it's not a Toyota or a 1KD problem. It's a general thing across the board. Go find someone, let's say, like me, that specialises in these vehicles, that's got a YouTube channel and shows you as much as I do, and you'll see, you know, let's say Navaras or Mazda BT50s or whatever you want, right? You know, is there anyone like that? I don't know if there is anyway. But anyway, there's probably not, because, you know, a bit of a unique thing, isn't it? Because it's all secret. You've got to keep all this information secret, because if you let your secrets out, you might, you know, everyone will do their own work and, you know, or yeah, I don't know. Look, it just doesn't matter. You need to understand the problem. We want to help save damage to these engines. Doesn't bother us whether you buy the injector kit or not, whether you buy injectors elsewhere, whether you change, it really just doesn't matter. We're busy anyway, it doesn't matter. Of course, we appreciate your business, don't take it the wrong way, but you know, there's some people that think that it's all about that. If it was about sales, we'd be able to sell a whole lot more things than just injectors. Okay guys, the other thing I just want to mention is, if you've got questions, that's why we've got our Facebook groups. Please ask your questions on there, because I might not have an answer. And yes, I am very busy, so please check out those groups there, okay? That's where you want to be to ask your questions, right? If you want to purchase parts, you do need to give me a call. It's a personalised service. We need to discuss exactly what you need for your vehicle. Give us a ring once you're ready to make a purchase, and we'll fine-tune the kit to exactly what you need. And of course, those other bits and pieces that we can provide. Please don't call or to ask general questions that are probably covered in groups. Please search the channel, search the groups, okay? Very busy, can't be taking calls on personal little things for thousands of people. Wouldn't get anything done. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you found this educational, as far as, you know, for the people that hadn't seen what the problem is with your oil pickups and how important it is to keep an eye on those oil pickups there and make sure they're clear. Now, once you've replaced your injectors, it's not so important to worry and look at that. It's worth a free check, it's worth a look. But I'm confident to say that if I put a set of injectors in a vehicle, that I'd be happy not to look through that oil hole for 150,000 Ks, okay? I'd be fairly happy to not do that. I think it would be wise to take a look every now and then. It'd be even more wise to take a look, especially once it got over 100,000 Ks or 6 years, you know, okay? So it's time as well. If someone's only done 80,000 Ks in 8 years or 10 years, it's just as important because of all that. It means it's done short trips, cold starts, hot, cold, heating, cooling, different materials, heating up at different rates, kind of like rubbing around on those seats, a lot of movement around there. Bada bing, bada boom. Hope that helps. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe. More important information coming your way very soon. Now, I probably made this mistake because I've gone through it so many times. So, you know, when you're doing things again, you forget to do things because you've already done it, but it was in another video. As I said, where those seats were, where they were clamped down, I didn't sort of explain how the oil pickup gets blocked because it's in the other videos. But if you have a look at these injectors, that's what they'll look like. All right, there's some examples. All right, this is probably a good example here. All right, so that's the seat leaking. Then the oil comes down because after the seat leaks, the heat of the compression goes up the injector, okay, and it takes out that O-ring we spoke about. Then the oil can come down, and that's fine as well, really, except for the fact that then it gets cooked and carbonizes. That's where this carbon, these bits of carbon come from, okay? And then of course they float around in that oil gallery back to, yep, the sump. And this oil pickup tries to pick up that oil. It's picking up bits of carbon from around the injectors, which is all caused by these seats leaking, okay? And this is a pretty bad one because, as it says in the picture, brass is too hard. Some suppliers were manufacturing and supplying brass on injectors. Not good, okay? Same thing here, you can see the seat on the next one. All right, you can see the seating area. See, I've put the two black marks. Below that is where it was seating, and above that, never even made contact at the standard torque specification. And that results in a whole lot of this mess. This is all different cars. Each line going down is a different car. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes on. But anyway, that's another story. And then you've got some injectors, you know. You got to watch what you buy. Anyway, guys, that's the blow-by. That's what happens. The way to prevent it is to change the injectors and the seats, not change that oil pickup every 100,000 Ks, was it? For only 50 bucks. I hope you get where I'm coming from. Thanks for watching.